PIRATEx Deep Dive. All things remote events.
So today is very special because I have some people join me that I know very well on a personal level as well, since we are working each and every day with each other. So I am very happy to welcome my dear colleagues, Josie, Lisa, and Vadim on this session today. Hello, you three. What a treat seeing your faces. How are you doing?
What a treat seeing your face. Wow. Thank you for having us.
So it's great that you're joining me today. And for you out there, the three of them and me, we're all working together, but we are doing quite different kinds of jobs. So me personally at Pirate, when I'm not doing deep dive sessions, I'm more responsible for developing the vision and the idea. So let's say the basic framework or the general framework of the events we are implementing. And so this is more or less very strategic. So for me personally, when we did the switch to digital, the job itself didn't really change. The product in the end, that changed, but not the way how I'm working. But the three of them, Vadim, Lisa, and Josie, they are building the operating team at Pirate. So they are basically, with the switch to digital, their job changed completely. So, and this is why they're here, because their year was full of adjustments, it was full of learnings, and I want them to share their insights with you today. So, the three of you. I know you, I said that, but our listeners don't. So, anything specific you want people to know about you? Josie, what about you? What should we know?
Maybe something about how I started out at Pirate. So first of all, when I came to Pirate, I was working for the content management of our own events. So all Pirate events and no agency work. So that changed in the last year. And now that I take care of the project management of external events, I also work for online events.
Lovely. Lisa, what is your job, or what should we know about you? What should people know about you?
Nowadays I'm the head of production, so I'm taking care of all events that are happening at Pirate. But when I joined Pirate in 2016, I was actually organizing our major events. We were only 2 event organizers by this time, and now since this digital event format came up and became bigger, I'm now organizing all our project managers and all the projects. So we grow a lot.
Yeah, it's not only Pirate, but now also like all your duties and everything. It's crazy. Vadim, I just checked the website again, where all of us had to describe themselves, and you described yourself using a movie and a song title as American Psycho. Anything you want to add?
No. I think that gives a very good insight into who I am as a person.
Yeah.
Let me also give you a little backstory for me. So I started off as a student intern, and in the complete opposite direction. I worked the market. I was a sales manager. And then came the whole COVID situation, and then came one fateful weekend, basically, where I actually was in the offices because I wanted to write an exam. And all of a sudden, I was a integral part of our very first project. And after that, I became a project manager, and now I'm very well integrated into the whole project management scheme we run here.
And has especially a very good expertise when it comes to all the technical stuff. And I do remember this weekend where the event was going crazy and you had no other chance than helping out.
Yes, and long nights.
So, but let's get to this. Like I already said, the production of events got a completely new focus in 2021. And can you describe a little bit how your job specifically changed? And what I would like to point out is what elements of this new way of producing events, this way of producing digital events, is the part that you like best right now? Josie, you already said that, for example, you previously worked or did conduct more of our own events. Now it's more the agency focus. You want to kick this off?
Sure. So actually, now that I'm not in like, at the location, and we're not working on all the agendas ourselves. Actually, my family the other week, they asked me what I actually do now because they couldn't really explain it to friends.
I feel you.
And basically what they took from my explanation was, so you're basically a TV producer. And I think that comes the closest to what we do right now, because it's not only, obviously about the technical production at the day of the event, but also about all the planning and, make it look as professional as possible. And I think that's also what I enjoy the most about the online experience compared to like a live event at a location, is the speed and the accuracy of it. So what I really like is to see that literally in 2 seconds, you can switch from a speaker that's sitting in Australia in their garden or whatever, and then 2 seconds later, you're in some office in Paris, or,
That is crazy. That's true. I never thought about it like that. But yeah, absolutely.
So I really like that. And what I mean by accuracy is that we count down the seconds for each session. And that feeling when you count down and you start on the right second and you have those switches and everything runs smoothly and you have videos that you play and jingles and media and speakers and everything runs smoothly, that's very nice.
Yeah. And I mean, if you look at our Vadim, we had that in a previous discussion where you were talking about the production plans, like the direction plans, which is like on point, so much minute by minute calculated, the entire event basically. Vadim, what is your favorite part of your new job or your new way of working?
Well, it's a fun thing actually, because like compared to Lisa and Josie,
right.
I'm a online event native.
Only, yeah.
And the other two are online event immigrants, so to speak, because you've run physical events before, I haven't. So for me, there was like no adjustment, except that it was a whole new job for me. But other than that, I didn't have to adjust. So I think what the most fun is, would be the fact that going in, I didn't expect to have much cross-functional conversations with other parties, and all of a sudden I'm now the last event I was played an integral part was a online conference with a company based in San Francisco. So I was working with US Americans, and times change. I was working long nights, which I didn't expect going in, but I really like this cross-cultural experience.
Cross-cultural, yeah. Mm-hmm. But as you just said, you're like a newcomer in the event production, but Lisa, for example, has been part of the Pirate team for so many years already. Lisa, how many years? I don't really know.
Almost 5, actually.
Oh, yeah.
In May, it would be 5. Yeah.
So as you said, like you experienced the development of the company itself, but now also this pivot. What changed the most for you, like in your position?
Actually, the things that changed the most is probably that I'm not involved in one specific project anymore. So normally when I was organizing our biggest events like Club or Pirate Summit, I was always very deep inside the project. I knew exactly what we were doing. And actually, in fact, I'm doing something similar because I'm still organizing big and complex structures and projects, but not anymore for one specific event, but I'm organizing our structure right now, how we changed and how we deal right now with new tasks, new projects, and new employers as well.
Yeah, and it's a lot of stuffing about the different parallel projects going on, right? Like organizing the manpower for it. So when we're looking back, like 2021, I mean, there are, correct me if I'm wrong, but we did about 40 something projects last year, which is quite a lot. Is there any aspect that you received or that was the most rewarding part for you in 2020? Something that you really enjoyed? or?
I have something already. Yeah, actually, I always thought when it came to organizing digital events that we're going to have less contact to people, which for sure we don't have because it's all online. But my most rewarding moment was when the speaker in our tech check, or actually after his speech, he told us that he feels so comfortable with us, so guided from us. So he was so happy to have this good experience, because they were also unsure and unsafe feeling with all this remote event stuff. So that gave me a really good feeling that we are doing a right thing here.
That's really nice. I like this, because we are always, that's something that we're telling basically every customer, right? That it's in the physical event business, it's all happening kind of naturally. People know how to work, how to move, how to interact at the event. But in a digital way, you have to take them by the hand, guide them, and so on. And if you receive so positive feedback on that, then means that we're doing something right. Vadim, what about you? Anything rewarding? A rewarding feeling that came up?
2020 was really rewarding. I'm just thinking about the steep learning curve I think all of us had gone through, because I mean, from thinking back to the first event we did to where we are now, in terms of quality and processes and everything, I think we've done a really great job. And then in terms of like one thing that really I enjoyed, I think it's hard to pinpoint. Like it started from the very first event, like where we were in panic the weekend before, and then when it went over, we were like, okay, I think we did a good job, to the first hybrid event we did, which was really amazing. And then my very first own project, which was very cool for me, my own personal little baby.
Sure.
And after that, across a project for Henkel, the Tech Ventures Week, where we had an amazing time with the client. The cross-functional team was really like, I never thought it could be this cool to work with like a customer. Also, as I already said, the cross-cultural experiences, for example, the last project I did with the US-based company. Many things, really many things I liked about this year.
Sounds like a good year. Somebody is like saying bad things about 2020, but that sounds like a really good year. Josie, you want to add a reward that you experienced in 2020?
Yeah, I think for me it's similar to what Lisa said. It's not only nice to see speakers and the participants enjoy the events, but also for me it was seeing how this might sound cheesy, but how the clients outgrew themselves, especially if you have, let's say, a studio production. In a lot of cases of the project that I managed, I had my client who also hosted the event. So they were standing in the studio in front of all the cameras and the lighting, and they saw all the production effort firsthand. And at first they were very nervous, obviously the first time you're in like a big studio. And then afterwards, they're just super hyped and really excited, and they enjoy it. And day by day, you can see their improvements. And then they're so happy about the event, how it turned out, but also really proud of themselves, like what they achieved. So that's really nice to see as well.
Yeah, it's not only our mindset changes, also the ones of our clients and of the participants, and people get used to it. And if we can help them to do so, that's brilliant. I can imagine. Yeah. And I mean, for you out there, the three of them, they are basically doing the same job, but as you just heard, they are all like being in charge for super different projects. So the different clients, you cannot compare it. It's like each project is individual or is unique. And you guys did a lot of events. If you think back about the ones that turned out really great, that were really enjoyable for you, and the outcome was like really, really good. I hope that's all of them. I know that's most of them, but in general, like have your favorite one in mind. And then can you state like the thing that made this event stand out? Is it a specific characteristic or a specific aspect that made exactly that event cool, super cool?
Maybe I'll start. I had a international delegation trip, which we organized as a remote event with multiple countries in different events. But I think the one that stood out to me was the Japan trip, because it was a really, really nice studio production with like such nice speakers as well. And what stood out to me was, first of all, it was my first production with a interpreter at the studio. So we had 2 interpreters translating between Japanese and English and German. So that was really exciting. And I think my personal highlight was to work with like such a different culture, because Japanese work culture was just different from the German, I guess. And it was nice to see how that changes the outcome a little bit, but also just the way that we work, the way that we talk to each other. It was always very polite and very organized, and that was obviously for me very nice to work with. And then I think my highlight was when my client, like I said, in that case as well, she was the host, at one of the sessions, she just started fluently talking Japanese. She's
wow.
German, and we were all blown away.
Like, whoa. Yeah, I can imagine.
So that was cool. Yeah,
that was cool. But would you say like working with the Asian people or the Asian market, Japanese people, is easier than with European ones?
I don't necessarily think it's easier or more difficult. It's just different. Yeah, after the first meeting or so, you get a feeling for how they talk, how they communicate, and how much you have to explain as well, and how much maybe they already know.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's interesting.
Different is a good word. Lisa, any event you can think of that had something that really makes it stand out?
For me personally, I would say it was the first event that I managed digital. That was the MedTech Live last year. So it was such a big bunch of things that we needed to do, and we were not quite sure if we are doing it all like in the state of the art, or if that's the best we can get out of it. And it was a lot of effort in the end, but it was really successful. Everyone was super happy, us included, and we had some really complicated sessions as well that were just fixed since, I don't know, 3-4 hours before. So and it just, everything worked out in the end, so we could not have been happier than that. So that's, I don't know, my best, craziest experience of digital events yet.
Tons of things that run through smoothly. That's how we want it. Vadim, what was your, I don't really want you to state an event, I want you to state something that made this event special.
Okay, so I don't know if you recall, Laura, but I think you probably know what I'm about to say, right?
Yes,
so
I am.
It was the project you brought me onto, and well, where do I start? So first of all, I got the chance to work with you, which was a pleasure, of course.
Wow. He didn't say that, he did.
Secondly, I got the chance to speak to a Nobel laureate and an astronaut. So I was not thinking that when my job description changed that it would mean that I would do this. Yeah, which was pretty cool. But then I seen people outgrow themselves, as you already mentioned. Like we've had this moderator at the event who like never did this job before, but turned out to do an exceptional job.
Like a natural, yeah.
Really, it was really cool. Shout out to Grant. This occasion, maybe he's tuning in. And in the end, like the event, the way it closed was, so they tried to inspire. It was a event created for the companies and not for like external, but it was an internal event. And the takeaways at the end of this whole week, it seemed like we really managed with this whole production to inspire people and to think outside of what they've been used to. And I think to achieve that solely digitally, like solely through a screen, basically, is an amazing job. And I think we really did a great job there.
Yeah, I totally agree. So that was like the level of highlight speakers is something, of course, that boosts up every event. But if you manage to bring across this emotional level, and that was what you just said, that's really something to look back in a very, very positive way. That's true. But enough of the positive stuff. So I already said you did like tons of events. Can you think of things? I mean, we want to get some learnings out of this session, right? Like what people can do better learning from us. So what would you say are the biggest bottlenecks when you're working with clients, when you're doing digital events? Where does it like, what's the most difficult part? Vadim, just keep going. You're already in the flow.
Basically, I think so. One huge bottleneck, something we also had to learn to overcome real quick, was the fact that digital events or online events are not cheap.
Oh yeah.
If you want to host a good online event, you need to take some money into your hands and be willing to spend it. Because unlike the opinion at the very start of the whole pandemic situation, it's not just a Zoom call or a Microsoft Teams call. No, it's a whole lot more. And actually, like when we started off, we figured like, it might be cheaper, but this is a point we had to quickly turn around our view on. And this is a huge learning. And I think there's still some space left for people to grow into, to realize, okay, it's not a low budget. We shouldn't do a low budget version, but we should actually take maybe even more money than we spend on a physical event to make this online event a really great thing and to really inspire people through it.
I mean, Josie said it's more close to an TV production than a Zoom call, right? If you do it properly or if you do it in a very professional way. Josie, what would you say? What is the most challenging part? What's the bottleneck in the event management process when we're looking at digital events?
I think it depends a little bit on the size of the company that you're working with or for, in that matter. Mm-hmm. So I think if you're working with a small team, it's kind of like a rabbit hole. Like you get lost really quickly in all the options that you have, and then you have to guide the people, like make decisions and just stick to a plan and not, get lost in all the options. On the other hand, the contrary is if you work with a big company. For me, a bottleneck from experience is that they have to get improvements from other departments and so many people that if you have a little small change, they have to send it to their supervisor and he sends it to his supervisor. And then all of those departments have to approve that change. And then that just kind of slows down the progress. So, yeah.
Yeah, super, super big bottleneck, if you can say it like that. Super small one, rather. I don't or that tightens everything up, that slows everything down. It's true. Lisa, you want to add something on that statement or on that question?
Actually, I think there is a lot of imagination needed when you are talking about online events, because sometimes you have clients who never had hosted any on digital event before. So sometimes we are trying to explain how the whole thing is going to look like, but still you need a lot of imagination because you cannot really see it until it's happening. So that's a big bottleneck as well. It's a lot of explaining, talking, trying to show, trying to explain.
What takes a lot of time. Yeah, totally. I just remember our sales manager, Lucas, when he started to sell digital events to clients, it was just like, oh my God, I have to schedule like double the time of the call because it takes me forever to really get people that vision of what they can actually achieve with the event. The imagination is a quite nice word that brings me to another aspect I wanted to discuss with you, is like the biggest misconceptions clients have. Vadim already stated something that goes into that direction, that a lot of our clients are thinking digital events are cheap, but they are just not. Are there any other rumors that you would like to clear up here in this session?
I have something to add right away.
Go, Lisa, go. Now is your time.
I think that some clients think that they can just take the agenda that they had for the physical event and just transport it as it is.
Classical, yes.
Yeah, and that's not working pretty good. So you should try to make it different, make it more interesting. For example, if you keep in mind that people are watching from their computers all day, so that you just get a little bit more specific to the thing that it's an online event and that it has some different needs than a physical event.
Yeah, especially when we even might have the chance to go back to physical again. Let's take the benefits of digital events, right? Not like the entire thing, but take the benefits and keep these. And in an online only version, like take the benefits and optimize them and stick to them, and don't try to push some other physical aspects in there. Vadim, you want to add a rumor that you would like to clear up? So if somebody hears it, they can say, oh no.
Yes, please, and everybody quote me on that. You need to, let your participants loose. Like we've had so many projects where the event host was trying to, take their participant by the hand and like really guide them through the experience. Just like make sure that he's like a baby in a bassinet, like he's like really tied up and everything is fine, and he's has it warm and has food and drinks and everything. No.
No, because on the one hand, we're already saying we should take them by the hand and guide them, and now you're saying the opposite.
No, I mean, like guiding them is one thing, but like you need to give them the chance to experience the whole thing. And if you do not let them experience and like roam free a little bit and tell them what exactly they're supposed to do, then they're not going to have the same experience as in a physical event. Compared, like it's in a physical event setting, you are also not bound to go like one directions, and that's what makes it cool, that you're able to roam around and see what the platform can offer you, and like get to know it on your own, and not have everyone or someone tell you what you need to do. This is something because the clients are just scared that the participants might not like it or might don't get the gist of it or something like that, which is not the case, because we've been in online meetings and becoming more digital for the better part of 2020, and I think by now you need to have some faith in your participants that they know how to go through the World Wide Web.
Yeah, it's balance is key, right? Guide them on the one side, but leave the space for them to make their own experiences or experience the platform by themselves. Yeah, I see your point.
Very diplomatic.
Yeah. Josie, you want to clear up some rumors as well, or everything said?
I think it's for me to make sure that people know that tech is like really good right now, but it's not perfect. I actually just talked about this with Vadim the other day, concerning the post-production of an event, like creating all the on-demand content and like cutting the videos and all that obviously there is a lot that we can do, but also at some point you reach the limit and you can't, if you had a plant in the background, we cannot erase that for you. And all of those, like I had questions, like, yeah, I had questions to just, create a whole new video of something that does not exist. Stuff like that, that's sometimes a little difficult.
But yeah, it's a really nice thing to say that, well, tech is not perfect yet. It gives us some opportunities to implement things and so on, but it's still not at all at the point where we want it to be. But this is really really interesting, because I talked about this with our colleague Natalie and Felix as well. It's like the wishes we have for the new year. And I mean, you did so many events, you worked with different attendees, different clients. And is there something you can imagine right now, or is there something you have in mind that you would wish for, how we can bring the attendees experience to the next level? Like thinking about, I don't know, light effects, sound, attendee management, something like that, or even more specific, looking into the technical direction, any visionary things you can imagine that you would wish for to develop this year, or in near future, let's say near future.
I think this might go a little into my direction. Don't mind me. So yeah, I think in terms of the basic video call feature, we are at a point where we've have a good quality or top-notch quality, but there's only so much you can do with a regular Zoom call, or be it some other call. What we want, or what I'd like to see in 2021 would be much more use of new technologies, such as we have VR and AR at our disposal, right? We can try ourselves out there. The uses of green screen to make the whole experience more immersive are points that we're definitely pursuing and also are currently working on and trying to bring them to our next events. Definitely, those are just make it more immersive. That's something we try to achieve during this year. I think that's a goal for us.
I'm waiting for you pimping up the deep dive session. You hear that?
Excuse me?
I said I'm waiting for you pimping up the deep dive session.
Deep dive.
Yeah,
I
want some green screen background.
We can do that. We can, you can be my first little laboratory.
I will
bunny.
be the volunteer. Okay.
Volunteer, yeah.
Josie, do you have any visionary thoughts in mind for new technical developments that you would wish for?
There's two things coming to my mind. Actually, one of them is about green screens, but just have improvements in that so that they actually work for everyone, whoever is dialing in with whatever software, that you don't have that cup that's disappearing or like half a face. That would be great if they like actually worked. And then I don't know if this is the near future, but during a lot of events you have speakers dialing in with a very low or bad internet connection. So in my dream world, I could be sharing my really good internet connection with them. Have a stable presentation. That's kind of on my wish list.
I thought you wished that we are just having a stable internet connection across the entire world, but you're thinking much more like sharing your own. This is so nice of you, Josie.
I thought maybe that's more possible than having great internet in every little corner of the world.
Just thinking about the internet connection between Düsseldorf and Cologne, awful. Lisa, you want to go last? What would be your technical wish on developments 2021?
Yeah, I actually totally share Josie's wish for global internet for everyone, because mine at home is not always the best as well. So we'll totally be in for that. But what I wanted to say as well, I don't think it's really a wish, but I see that happening already, is that the platforms where we are hosting the digital events right now, that they're improving a little bit in different skills, because right now we have a lot of platforms on the market that are professional in specific topics, but I think what would be cool is if they would combine the topics somehow, that we have a really professional overall programs and platforms that we can use for digital events.
So I wish, or I hope, that there are some crazy tech people out there watching this and who can think of new solutions much better than we are, and then come back to us and help us implement them to pimp up our event experiences. So, well, year 2020 was full of a massive amount of learnings and adjustments. You just stated so many of them. But is there something concrete, like one or two learnings where you would say, okay, this is something I'm definitely gonna do differently in 2021? Josie, what would you say? What's your learning?
I think one of the biggest learnings for me in the past is that we have to do quality checks with third-party providers, because sometimes, the clients work with them, they're either trusted or not trusted, but those are the people that they want to work with. So we have to make sure that they actually, live up to their promises and that they have a good quality standard that we can work with as well.
Yep. Anything else? Nothing else?
There's actually one more thing, which is more internal learning, I guess, than with the client. Which is to have more hands on deck, meaning we need people for every little task, because sometimes, stuff comes up, the client needs help, the speaker needs help, or any, one-on-one attention that you need to focus on one task. You need other people to take care of your tasks. So it's always best to, have more people than you plan for, because in the end, you'll probably need them.
Yeah, totally. More hands on deck sounds so piratey. Love it. No, but now just imagine when the physical events are coming back at some degree, then it's probably even more manpower. I just talked about that in a previous deep dive. When you're doing hybrid, for example, that you should not underestimate the manpower that you actually need to build both experiences properly. Vadim, Lisa, any learnings you guys want to add to this?
Regarding what Josie said, I think when working with third-party providers, or even when you're working with a client, what I'm going to take into 2021 was going to be I'm going to test and test and test even more. Or before I run out something, you just need to make sure everything is working. The plan you have in mind needs to be tested just to make sure that it's going to work as you have planned. And also regarding that, I think what I'm also going to do differently in 2021 is we're going to be more proactive with our clients, since we now have the experience of over, what did you say, 40 plus events under our belt. I think we are now in the lead and can now push or steer our clients into the event they always dreamed of.
Push them towards testing.
And testing.
Good one. Yeah. Lisa, you want to wrap it up with some learnings that you have on your mind?
Yeah, actually similar to what Vadim said. I think we had some very big learnings in the last year to be on track with the topic digital events. So now we can deliver the best quality. We know all the options that are possible. And we try to be always in the state of the art, maybe even above, so we can get the most out of it that's possible.
Great. I'm really very much looking forward to 2021 with you guys together. Thank you so much for joining me on this session today, for sharing all your thoughts, and for being with me. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
And thanks everybody out there. I hope you'll take these learnings. They help you as they hopefully help us to keep further developing the event experiences and push our industry to the next level in 2021. So take care and bye-bye.
PIRATEx Deep Dive. All things remote events.